after. All right. So I'm going to introduce myself. I know you all know me, but this is my first food call. I'm taking over for Leah. She's taking on some other things, and so I'm going to take over for her. And I'll be doing this call every Wednesday at the same time. I thought we would kind of do a little spinoff of what Christy was talking about on the Sunday family call, which was how do we approach nutrition when it comes to being sick. And I think everybody on this call has been sick either in the past few months. If you haven't, it's coming. We're coming into flu season. And so it's coming. And we kind of want to have some kind of a strategy when it does happen so that we're not feeling so lost. I know when I went through my own sickness a couple weeks ago, it was actually like 4 weeks ago, I was like at the peak of my consistency, and then boom, this hits. And it's like, what do I do now? How am I going to eat? How am I going to move? And I just kind of had to go with it. And I knew recovery was important and rest was important. And so I had to adjust a few things. And one of the things Christy talked about on the call Sunday was listen to your body. That was basically the message she was giving you, giving us all, is listen to your body, listen to the signals it's giving you. If you can't eat, you don't eat. You don't force feed yourself. You eat what you can, when you can. You move your body however you can, when you can, whatever feels good. But sometimes when you're feeling so sick, all you can do is sleep, maybe a little bit of water. Nutrition is kind of the last thing on your mind. And I know for myself, I was craving a lot of different foods that I don't normally crave. Our immune systems are kind of going through a big deal trying to fight these viruses, and your body's going to crave more carbs and stuff like that to get, it's wanting fast energy. And so I was craving a lot of breads. I ate a lot of bagels that week, a lot of sandwiches that week, but that's what felt good. And I was also having a lot of stomach problems as well. So I had to keep it very bland and no veggies all week. I hadn't done that in a really long time, but every time I would try to eat a vegetable, it would really upset my stomach. So it was not just that week, but it lasted for a little bit after too. I think when you're in recovery, trying to figure out how to get back into things is kind of another challenge in its own. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with this conversation, is once we're feeling better and we are not so much past recovery, but pretty much through it to where we're feeling like we can eat again, what are some of the things that we do to get back on track? One of the things she talked about was, as well as, while you're sick, the after part, you want to listen to your body as well and introduce food slowly and what feels good. If it doesn't feel good, don't introduce that food. A lot of viruses will create a lot of mucus, and certain foods will also create more mucus, like dairy, so, and I've noticed that now 3 weeks past COVID, every time I have a protein shake, I get a lot of mucus buildup. And so that's something that I kind of have to watch and make sure that I'm getting more fluids in than just dairy products or protein shakes and stuff like that. So there's certain foods that can trigger different symptoms when you're sick, and you kind of want to avoid those. But at the same time, you want to get back into what feels good. So I don't know. I just kind of want to open it up. I know a lot of you have gone through illness recently, and I'm curious how you feel now that you've gotten past it, and how have you maybe gotten back on routine, or what kind of foods have helped you get through that illness?
I think something that's helped me a lot when I've been sick to get back on track is when I'm sick, be very specific with what I'm trying to accomplish. Like, hey, today I am trying to get my water, period, you know? And like each day kind of evaluate and have my bare minimums, right? So that as I like start to add things back in, I'm not harshing myself for all of the things I wasn't able to do when I was sick. You know, I think being really specific about that helps me avoid the all or nothing as I'm moving back into like, you know, the world of the living. It it doesn't like hold me back longer, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah. I know with myself, like I was on this Brussels sprout kick right before I got sick. Brussels sprouts and potatoes. And I had just prepped a whole bunch of them, and I found out I had COVID. And I had some terrible stomach cramps. And I kept eating the Brussels sprouts. Obviously, you know, that wasn't such a good idea. My coach would tell me, Leah, she's like, maybe it's the Brussels sprouts. And I was like, I got to get my vegetables in. I prepped a whole pan of Brussels sprouts. And I just kept going for it. It didn't feel good. And when I finally eliminated that food and went for something a lot lighter, I think I did like bell peppers or something like that. Like all of that pain I was having in my stomach just went away. And so I think that's true. You just have to take it really slow when you're getting back into it and not expect to be where you were before so quickly.
I like that. Something that I always lean into like saltines and like bread, like you were saying, like that's what I feel like I want, because a lot of times I think like the salty, crunchy but dry, carbs to absorb the stomach acid, or to give my body some sodium or whatever it is. But I do try to remember now, because I think I used to use sickness and recovery as like a way to be like, well, I just want comfort foods and it's okay right now. And then I would make myself feel worse, like, because I would eat sugary things or, like treats, because I'm like, this is going to make me feel better. And not really realizing at the time that it was going to cause inflammation or upset my stomach, especially if I had been eating really well up until that point, like you were, like I would eat, like I'd be like, oh, I'm going to have brownies and I'm going to have these, because I used to, like super sweet tooth. That's my MO.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that I have to remind myself is like, even though I'm not going to be eating on point, or like these, I don't need to worry about necessarily like hitting balanced plates if it doesn't feel good. But I do try really hard to still eat quality foods, because like the nutrition will help my body heal faster, and to like pay attention to that part. Or like if I felt like I needed to get in veggies, I would drink like my green drink with like fresh ginger in it to help settle my stomach, and just kind of make it easily digestible. I know that Christy said something about like maybe like more of a liquid diet might feel better. And like blending up fruits and veggies might feel, if it doesn't, but like you were saying, definitely listen to your body. But that's why I try to remind myself, like, sugar is always inflammatory, and like dairy definitely causes excess mucus, and just trying to take it easy on those things, because I know what they do to my body now.
Yeah. And sugar is also going to cause spikes in your blood glucose, and that's going to make you feel more fatigued and more tired. So that's kind of a good one to avoid when you're sick altogether, just because it's going to make you more tired overall.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I would love to eat like just comfort junk food when I'm not feeling good. Like if I have a cold. But I think this last time around, since being in Fitme, I think I was a little more, I wasn't great. I still had the comfort food, but the comfort junk food, but I was a little more aware of certain things. Like I knew if I'm like, okay, I want carbs. All right, I'm gonna need an apple first. And maybe I'll still have the fries, but I ate the apple first, which normally would not have happened. Like, and then I made a smoothie during it. I remember doing that with like orange juice and like blueberries and stuff. So I feel like, and I was way more intentional about water, which I guess, probably a year or so ago, I probably would have drank ginger ale like literally the whole time, which this time I didn't. I just had seltzers or a water. I throw Gatorade in there every now and again if I'm really like, if my appetite's not great and I feel like lightheaded. Like I know I need carbs, sugar, and water. I just do. But definitely better since Fit Me, for sure.
And the other thing, Rose, is if you're going through a lot of GI upset, and your gut is feeling really bad, the more you gotta be careful with the sugars that you're adding in, because that can cause even more problems. The more sugar you have, the more diarrhea you would have, stuff like that. And so you kind of want to replenish your fluids and your electrolytes, but you also want to watch your sugar content, if you're having a lot of GI issues.
Yeah, like I can't do a lot of sugar-free stuff because of like the fake sugars make me feel really like gassy and bloated. But I did try one of those, oh my goodness, what are they called? Like the Vita water thing you pour in there. And I mean, those are okay every once in a while for me. And then I definitely would do like Jellos, which I know are just like sugar, but it was like all you could tolerate sometimes,
Yeah.
But slowly made better choices.
Yeah.
Like normally, seriously, I would have probably just drank ginger ale the whole time. And the fact that I wanted water was like kind of great. Like I actually wanted to drink my water when I was sick and not a soda. And it's funny now with soda, now when I drink it, I'll think I want some and I'll have some and it like makes me sick. Like I don't want it. Like I'm like, which is wild. Cause I like cold turkeyed it for like probably a good year. And then I slowly take a little bit here and there, but it's so weird.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about like all the things. I don't know, you guys probably do this too, but when you're sick as a kid, you think about those, like what made me feel good when like, what did my mom make me, to make me feel better, And I remember when I would have an upset stomach as a kid, my mom had like a bottle of Coke syrup, like Coca-Cola syrup in the fridge. And you take like a tablespoonful of Coke syrup. I don't even know if you can buy this anymore, but like that's what I had. So when I get sick, I feel like I want a Coke, but I hate Coke. It's so gross to me. But like my brain is like, you should drink a Coke. It's gonna make you feel better.
Yeah, get some Coke syrup.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Skip the Coke, just drink the syrup.
Yeah. No, legit. It was syrup. I
Was
don't
it
know.
like for a sore throat or something?
No, it was for an upset stomach.
Yeah.
Upset stomach?
Coke is supposed to be good for an upset stomach, like flat Coke.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Coke was supposed to be good for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Initially, anything from low energy to, mental clarity.
Fixes all things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally just like transported back to like when I was sick, it's definitely Campbell's chicken noodle soup, like condensed soup, grilled cheese, if I could do it.
Oh,
Jell-O.
grilled cheese.
and lime jello preferably, and what's that? Ginger ale. That was
That
like
sounds
the go-to
amazing.
kit.
Yeah.
You know,
Cinnamon
it sort of
toast.
does. And yet
Cinnamon
I
toast
think
was
about
mine.
having that now, I would feel like utter dog shit if I had it.
Yes. Yes.
I would feel 10 times
So
worse.
much sodium.
I know. If I even smelled the Campbell's chicken noodle soup now, I'd be like, "Ugh."
Oh, I could still eat some. Honestly, I actually looked up chicken soup because I was like, what's the big deal about chicken soup? And, they always say chicken soup when you're sick. So I'm going to tell you why we have chicken soup. So first of all, you've got your fluids, you've got your soup, which you have electrolytes, keeps you hydrated, helps with nausea and vomiting. If you have a fever, it can help with that as well. The warmth of the liquid thins the mucus, so that'll help with mucus congestion. Your chicken actually has something in it that breaks up mucus. It's called N-acetylcysteine. So that'll actually help break up the mucus, and it has some antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties. Now, if you make soup the way we make it, you also add, of course, you add like some vegetables. So you get a little bit of vegetables in there, but you get, we put lemon in our soup. And so lemon has, of course, the vitamin C and the antioxidants. It's good for a lot of different things. You could put garlic in it. Probably don't want a whole lot of garlic, but garlic will help also, antibacterial, antiviral, and it helps to enhance the immune system. We put rice in it. Rice is used for bland diets when you have diarrhea. It kind of helps. I don't know if you've heard of the brat diet, but it bulks up your stool so that you have less diarrhea. We also put corn and we put cabbage.
I've heard turmeric too, but I didn't try it.
Turmeric in your soup?
I've heard turmeric in anything for your GI system.
Anti-inflammatory.
For everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I guess that's why we have chicken soup when we're sick.
So, Marlena, what I'm hearing is that you're going to share a chicken soup recipe so we can all prep for this flu season situation.
Healthy chicken noodle soup.
I will.
Yes.
I might make it because the more I talk about it.
Yep.
Homemade sounds
I never
so
used
good.
to make homemade chicken soup. And then my mother-in-law made it one time for us and it was so good. And so I tried to recreate it when I came home and it wasn't as good as hers, but we still try every now and then. My kids make me put noodles in it. My husband likes rice. I like it just plain, but they like the noodles in it. So
I love egg noodles.
Yeah.
Like it's like I love the egg noodles in it.
The egg noodles, yes.
Yeah.
And then
collect potatoes in ours.
Ooh,
potatoes.
Yum.
I think the key to a good chicken noodle soup is the broth needs to be boiled from the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the chicken.
It did say bone broth. Yes. You should use bone broth.
Well, and that was what I was say, like start collecting carcasses, like your chicken carcasses and your chicken bones. Start like filling up a freezer bag and just leave it in the freezer and collect them. And then you can make a big batch of bone broth and store it in mason jars in the freezer. And it's great for like the winter time.
Yep.
How do you make the bone broth?
You just let it,
just boil it
with the bones. Like you put the bones in the pot and fill the pot with water and like whatever. Like I like to put like a whole onion, even with the skin on. Like you have to cut it, dice it, and like celery stalks and carrots and you know, whatever scraps of stuff you want to put in it to flavor it, and
No. Sure.
Yeah, actually, I just put like the end of the stalk of celery. I'll throw that in there. I don't use the good part of the vegetables because
Uh-huh.
just scraps of
yeah,
veggies.
just scraps of stuff, and it tastes phenomenal.
Yeah, and then you just strain it at the end, and you boil. You just not you bring it to a boil, and then you let it simmer for like days. And I just leave it covered. So if I have to leave, I'll turn the burner off, and then I'll just turn it back on when I come home. You can also do crock-
Yeah, your crock pot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you freeze it, or?
yeah, you can. It's
Yeah.
good for a couple days in the fridge, and then I just end up filling up mason jars and putting lids on them and freezing them. Or I
So,
those little puck, like
uh-huh. So it sounds like, you know, it's interesting because we know we're going to get sick again, right? Like at some point, like dun, 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 like we know it's coming, right? So it sounds like doing this ahead of time is how you have that, like that prep, you know? So having like as easy as you can. So when you're feeling ridiculously crappy, you're more likely to have a healthy option. And I don't think I've ever done this ahead of time. And I think I'm going to. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you don't want to cook when you're sick, and
Nope.
nobody's gonna cook the way you want to cook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was anticipating getting COVID when I got it. And so I was kind of trying to prepare, and I did that food prep ahead of time. Only I made Brussels sprouts, not knowing that I was going to have really bad cramping. And so I couldn't even eat them. But oh well. I didn't even know that was a symptom, and it is.
Uh-huh. Dang.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm looking for chicken noodle soup recipe and I'm looking for bone broth recipe.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
Hook a
for
sister
sure.
up.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Hey, Lauren, can you use the juices from the chicken thighs too? Because when I bake chicken thighs, there's a ton of juice in there.
probably. I don't usually save it, but you probably could because that would add some fats. I love like when my bone broth, it's harder to find like they're like I'll cut them for you. If I just like a couple of bones. But I love when I make homemade bone broth and like when I mix it up and then put it in my mason jar, I'll get like a fat cap on top.
Yeah.
Then I know it's really good. And
Yeah.
what I do is like I warm it up in like after it defrosts, I put it in like a mug and then heat it up in the microwave and drink it out of a mug. And it's so good.
It is. It's really good.
and it has
That
collagen
sounds really good.
Yeah.
to help
It
with
does.
your skin.
Yeah.
And,
The bones are really good.
yeah.
Definitely.
When we make
Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, when we make chicken soup, we use and if we have time, if I'm not grabbing a rotisserie from the store and shredding it and throwing it in there, if we have time, we use drumsticks. So that way the bones in there cooking with
That's what
the soup.
that's what we've done. Yeah.
Yeah. We leave the
That's what we've
chicken
done
on the
too.
bone.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'll throw like my scrap, like with my scraps of bone. If I have skin scraps, I'll throw that in the freezer bags too, just to add some extra fat to it.
Flavor.
Yum.
Mm-hmm. You guys, I'm going to put a post on Facebook when we get off this call. Like, what's your like chicken broth / soup hack? Because all of you had like different ones and I just didn't know any of these. And I bet you people have even more. And, you know, inquiring minds and all that jazz.
That's a good idea.
Your
Yeah.
best
That's a great
soup
idea.
hacks.
I love-
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a picture because this is my first call.
Woohoo!
Aw. I'm so glad
And
I
I
said
gotta
that.
record it. Okay, let me see. I gotta look, make sure everybody's in. Okay, ready? Smile. Okay.
Oh my gosh, everybody looks so good.
I know. Everybody always
Because
looks
Marlene took the picture.
Yeah.
So my face is all washed out because I have no lights in here.
Actually, you look really
Yeah,
pretty.
it's like a week.
You do look nice, Marlena. Did you get your hair cut?
I did. I got it cut for the for the Fitme event. The last time I cut it was a year ago for the last event.
Wow, so cute.
Every year. That's my motivating factor for getting a haircut.
Once a year, whether you need it or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, good
Thank you
call.
so much.
Thank you. all for-
Thanks. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
good.
She's
like
a
a pro.
baller.
Yeah, definitely.
A baller. This is so not a surprise. On point with all the chicken noodle soup facts. I was like, holy crap. That was awesome.
Right.
Thanks,
You gotta,
Marlena.
you gotta do some research, right?
Like a pharmacist.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Happy
Love you, ladies.
Wednesday.
Good night,
Yeah.
guys.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye. Bye-bye.